Hey guys, and welcome to another Titan Tries. This time we're going to be examining another game from my childhood, or should I say another demo from my childhood. I really wanted to actually play the full game as a kid, but for some reason, whether I couldn't find the game or whatever, I never managed to. So I think it's time we rectify that now. This game is brought to us by our friends Psygnosis. And man, do they have a pedigree on the PlayStation 1. And just before, you may, if like me, you may be used to another game that has almost the exact same splash screen setup, and that is G-Police. I had to double check the ROM until this lovely little scene popped up. Yeah, of course, the game we are playing today is Overboard. And you can see it's got a very wacky, kind of cartoony art style, which I actually really like. This is another one back from the colourful PlayStation 1 library. This game was released in 1997, which obviously was a bit of a problem for something like this because, well, to say 1997 was one of the best years in video game history is a little bit of an understatement. And unfortunately, the review scores at the time negatively affected this game quite harshly, unrightly so. You know, a little bit unjustly, but unfortunately this game did run into some amazing software. So what is this game? Well, I'm glad you asked. This game is often referred to as a strategy game. It is not a strategy game at all. It's more of a pirate adventure. You have levels, you have maps, and it's kind of, you'll see we've got a bit of a bird's eye sort of view going on here, and we control this pirate ship, and each level is essentially a maze where we have to make our way through to the end. So as I said, this game was made by Psygnosis. They were actually acquired by Sony back in 1993, which is interesting because the PlayStation 3 wasn't even the PlayStation wasn't even a thing then. You know, early design concept at best. So anyway, let's leave our little port town and go on an adventure. Every level has a number of collectibles that you need to find, and they're fairly well hidden. We also have to collect ammunition for our cannon, which we can use in forward firing mode, which fires a single cannonball at a time, or we can select broadside mode, in which we have, well, we triple the ammunition consumption, but we do a heck of a lot more damage. So this game was originally showcased at E3 in 1997, which I find is rather interesting because they showed this game off in 1997 and then it came out in 1997. A little bit different to how things are done these days, you know, where we get a cinematic trailer for a game a decade before it releases, and what they originally show us in those trailers and what we actually get are two wildly different things. You know, we'll see an amazing cinematic which gets us excited, and we'll get a buggy, broken load of dog shit 10 years later. But you know, 1997 was a different time. What else came out in 1997? Well, so we had Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Yes, a couple of people will know that. We also had GoldenEye 007, Star Fox 64, Crash Bandicoot 2, Quake 2, Mega Man Legends, Riven, Tomb Raider 2, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, yes, Gran Turismo, uh, Diablo, the original Diablo, Grand Theft Auto, and there were others as well. It's kind of baffling, to be honest, that this game, even is remembered by anyone at all, but I think that's more down to the demo discs at the time. So as you can see, the levels are kind of structured as puzzles, a collection of rooms. You know what this actually reminds me of? It reminds me of... I don't know if this is unique to me or unique to the theme park that I went to, but there's a local theme park in Cornwall. It's called Flambards. It's a load of shit, really. It's probably one of the worst theme parks in history. But it had these remote control ships. And you looked over into a big pond and they had some obstacles and things set up. And you could take control of one of them and you could drive it around a little assault course. And this game reminds me of that. Obviously, they were nowhere near as interesting or as exciting as this game, but, that's the closest real-world comparison that I can think of right now. So the music in this game was composed by Stuart Duffield, who actually has a humongously long legacy in the video game industry. He started in 1994. And what's interesting is he is kind of mentioned in more games than I can actually begin to list here. But yeah, he has a huge career, and his whole vibe was he liked to mix electronic music with orchestral music. So he's got a very unique sound signature, and I think he did a pretty good job with this game. Now we have different ports that we can come across on our adventure, and if we ransack them, or at least show up, we do actually get some goodies. We get some cannonballs, we get some health. This game is reasonably challenging. As you can see, it takes me a few minutes here to get acclimatized for the controls. The controls are a little bit strange. We control the ship with the D-pad. Forward actually accelerates us, I think. Pushing up accelerates, pushing down de-accelerates us, which is kind of like a turbo mode and a brake mode, because I believe it's actually the X button that makes you move forwards. The cannons are operated with R1. Your secondary weapon is the opposite shoulder button, I believe. And then the L and R2, I believe, actually cycle through your weapons. Now, that golden cannon we just picked up there, that actually gives us a permanent, I believe permanent anyway, firepower upgrade, which you can now see is, if you look at our cannonball display, we have 450 cannonballs, but under that there is a number of squares. There's 2 now highlighted, but that doesn't upgrade our broadside. Our broadside is technically like a different weapon as well. Now, visually, this game is incredibly nice. I fell in love with this pretty quickly, and I believe that's because I've always had an interest, even as a kid, of beachside kind of watery levels. I don't know why. I've always liked the coastal stuff, and this just ticks all the boxes for me. Now, fire is probably your worst enemy in this game. If you get set alight, I believe it does go out eventually, or you can extinguish yourself on those waterfalls and other such things. Your sailors will jump out, causing extra damage, but if you pick them up before they drown, you do get a little slither of health back. So you can try and win the fire burn rate of just out of attrition. You can just keep picking up your guys. I'm not sure if you will eventually burn out either way, but we're going to continue anyway, picking up these messages in a bottle. I'm not entirely sure what they do. I think they actually fill out our map, because we do have a map in this game, and it's going to be referenced quite a lot because the levels do get more and more complex. Now, there's something fun about the combat in this game as well, just destroying these other ships, and you can see they get caught on fire as well. Now, when enemy ships are burning, yep, their sailors also jump ship, and you can pick those up for a little slither of health as well. You will get destroyed in this game very, very quickly. Now, I like when we destroy the enemy ships. Oh, that sailor's gone, and he's gone as well. Never mind. When we destroy the ships, they will sink to the bottom, obviously, and they will actually rest on the bottom of the ocean unless they hit one of those big holes in the ground, and then they will just sink deep, deep down into the the Earth's crust, I guess, which is really sad. Now, that was kind of bad. We got set on fire pretty hardcore there. We lost a hell of a lot of health. Can we catch some of these sailors before they disappear down to Davy Jones' locker? I think we can. So this game was actually called Shipwreckers in the States, I believe. Now, this little finger here is giving us a little bit of a tip. There are plenty of secrets studded around these levels, and they do get pretty devious. We've got 6 out of 9 treasures. I'm not sure what the treasures actually give us. I think they are literally just items to collect. Golden ships will give us an extra life. That's pretty important later on. Now, it does appear later on as well, in fact, even in the next level, those waterfalls actually seem to all pretty much become secrets. So I didn't realize this at the time, but it's worth having a little poke into every waterfall and every cave you find. Now, standard cannonballs aren't too much to worry about because you can usually outmaneuver them. However, it's the fire. The fire is what really hurts. So Psygnosis is also a pretty important developer, especially for me. Other notable games that they made Lemmings, of course. They made Wipeout. They did the Formula 1 games, which, to be honest, I never really played, was never that interested. But then they also did the Colony Wars games. So, you know, these guys knew their way around the PlayStation. So I think they were headed in Liverpool as well. But they did eventually get closed down, unfortunately. I think they were shut down August 2012, which was really kind of quite a blow because, like I said, quite a pedigree developer. But, you know, Microsoft gets a lot of flack in recent times for closing down developers, and quite rightly so, I should say. But let's make no mistake, Sony has really gutted over the years, gutted their development studios too, and I think that's really catching up with them in the modern times, especially with the PlayStation 5, when, you know, a lot of people complain about the Xbox not having many games. Again, sort of quite rightly so. I mean, I think the game drought is somewhat overblown, but if we're talking about solid first-party titles, there's been a massive lack of them in recent years, and I think that's just A, down to the fact that these big companies keep shutting their developers down, and B, just the budgets and the time that it takes to produce these games is just ridiculous now. You know, everybody wants the best graphics and sod everything else, and unfortunately that takes a hell of a lot of development time. But, you know, we're not here to talk about the modern state of gaming, which is, you know, in the gutter. I can't imagine myself ever buying another games console, but we shall see. Anyway, there's the first mission wrapped up. Yeah, I think I'm going to be sticking with my PC from now on. I really have kind of lost all interest in the PlayStation and Xbox, I'll be honest. Right, now this introduces us to a new weapon and another mechanic. We have the rocket. And the rocket fires up and only up. Now, to start off with, you think it's just for pushing switches and whatnot. But no. There are aerial targets as well, which we shall see later. I love these little beaches here. I'd love to just set up camp for a while, disembark and go and find some coconuts or something, and then head back to these giant saws in the... we're not even in the sea, really, are we? Now, these fish, I believe, explode underneath us, I think. Yeah, like that. So they're kind of dickbags, really. It kind of reminded me of an enemy that you would probably see in a Mario game, not necessarily a pirate game. But then, I suppose, calling this a pirate game is a little bit of a stretch. And there was a glorious ship combat there. So collecting that power-up gave us a speed boost, which is a double-edged sword. I do like the way our ship transforms. Our sails get bigger, and we get these like steamboat paddles on the side, which is really, really cool. Now we need to dodge these these fire streams as carefully as possible, because it hurts. It really hurts. Like, I'm pretty sure if you don't pick anything up, this will drain half of your health, basically. You can just pick up your dudes, and then you'll only lose like about a quarter, I think. But yeah, I'm not convinced whether it's worth fighting those flame towers, to be honest with you. But I'm a sucker, and I must fight everything. So, you know, I only have myself to blame for that. Okay, so we've got these explodey fish underneath us. There's a surprising amount of depth to the visual style of this game as well. I really do like it. Everything looks so chunky, and there's so much depth. Like, you can see under the water, and there's things under the water, and there's holes in the ground which you can imagine go really deep down. The visual style for this game is absolutely fantastic, and this did also release on the PC back in the day, 1997, which I am going to have a little look for later on. Now, the enemies being set on fire is pretty good, but it's a double-edged sword, because doing some testing, if you do get too far or too close to these guys, they will set you on fire in some kind of, you know, last hurrah dick punch, and it's not great, I'll be honest. Especially when you're already low on health because they've been blasting you with cannons. Generally, when that happens, you're going to have a bad time. So anyway, let's raid this port. Now, this port doesn't give us goodies straight away. No, this port has a little load of items in a separate bay here. But you can see how the levels, I guess they kind of remind me a little bit of the original Zelda, where everything is in rooms. I know that's actually a terrible comparison, but that's kind of what sticks to my mind. We got another weapon there as well. We can pour oil behind us, and it's burning oil. How effective that is, I'm not entirely sure. You don't really get a lot of time to play with it. And listen to that music. Those steel drums. It's fantastic. Almost getting, I would say, Theme Hospital vibes, where you've got that kind of mellow beat in the background with some like steel drums over the top. Yeah, sort of Theme Hospital vibes. Anyway, some more glorious broadside action here. These ships are no match for ours, at the moment at least. We've got some nice palm tree action going on, just popping in. But it's fine. It's an old game. We can forgive it. Now, what I should have done, really, is I should have checked behind us in that waterfall. But, oh, here we go. We got some parrots. Revenge of the parrots, eh? But that's okay. We can blast them out of the sky with our rockets. Now, this is the first time you're seeing them. They turn into cooked chickens as well, which just tickles me in all the right places. I don't know why. A chicken that's bigger than our ship. But anyway, so those golden cannonballs there, they actually upgraded our broadside. So we're now doing 2 damage out of a possible 4, I guess. But yeah, back there and in front of us, we've got the waterfalls. We should be checking those. Yeah, that was the first time I found the map because I was trying to work out how to bring the map up before. To no avail. I don't know why. I can't even remember what the map button is. It's probably something stupid. And this is where I discover, oh my, we can go through the waterfalls. And there is secret treasures and health. And my God, health. Health is so important because especially on the later levels, oof, yeah, that stuff gets stripped away pretty bloody quick. So after discovering that I could go through the waterfall, I was like, maybe, just maybe, I should go back and try some of the others. But then I'm like, well, we're just playing this game for shits and gigs. Do I have to? Should I bother? And I think in the end I actually do go back and start looking. But we've got plenty of bombfish. I don't know if there's a good way of getting past those. There probably is. There's probably a new weapon we can get later on that we don't have. Ammunition seems to be more than plentiful in this game. Whether that changes later on, I don't know. But there's absolute piles of the stuff. Now, some of you may have noticed as well that there is a day and night cycle in this game. I don't know whether that's tied to the levels, but it does appear to be tied to your position in the levels. So, for instance, here, where you've got this nice little island town, this, from what I can remember, this is always going to be nighttime here. Because we do a circle of the level later on. And, yeah, the sun comes back up, and it comes back down when we get here. And I think that's quite nice. I do like that. I've always been a sucker for day and night cycles in games. This is unfortunate. Yeah, and unfortunately, if we're too close to any kind of geometry, anything that isn't the sea, when our guys jump out, they disappear. So that's really not great. It's not optimal, I'll be honest. It does lead to some awkward situations where you're trying to grab every last man you can to, not die, but they're just disappearing. I'm assuming they're escaping the vessel on dry land. They're not just falling through the map. At least that's my headcanon anyway. So we've got another port to take over here. Grab the goodies within. Now you can see there's a lot of patches missing on our map. And I'm pretty sure those green bottles do actually fill out the map. Yes, they do. And the green bottles, funny enough, are also on the map. And so are the ports, for that matter. You can see they've actually got pirate flags on them now. So I am assuming that we are, turning up and ransacking them. Although we don't get to see that in glorious detail. You just got to try and outrun these fish. To start off with, I didn't even realize those fish were blowing up and hurting us. I knew they were blowing up, but I didn't realize why they were blowing up until I realized they were bomb fish. It's like, oh dear. Is everything in this blasted place trying to kill you? And the simple answer to that is yes. Yes, they are. And that dickhead landed in the trees and escaped. Mutinous dog. I hope he dies. Now, in the intro, when we see our ship, there's actually only 3 hero characters. I assume there are hero characters. We're going to just go with that. So where all these other sailors are coming from, I don't know. But we're not here to question it. We're not here to wonder why. We're just here to have a good time. Not here for a long time. We're just here for a good time. Now, I'm guessing as we go further into the game, these towers do get a little bit more advanced. I imagine they would. But you can see what I mean by this is more of kind of like a adventure, I guess almost a puzzle game, actually. It's certainly a genre of game that we don't really get anymore. Now, this, I believe, is another weapon. This is the mines. And we never really had a lot of time to experiment with them. But thinking about it now, I wonder if these mines will actually get rid of those bombfish. It's possible. Anything's possible in this game. And it looks like we have some nighttime action again. That door is open, so we get another life. Excellent. And an entire month later of me originally getting sick, and my voice is still crapping out on me, like halfway through a video. My cat is also up to no good. He's investigating a box that I have, which is full of stuff. It is a storage box. And he's just pulled it out of its little cubby hole. He's now investigating it. Thanks, Leo. I'll deal with that after the video. Yeah, I'm not really sure who's been putting these saw blades everywhere. I'm assuming that there are some law-abiding wood craftsmen. Carpenters. There's the word I'm looking for. Wood craftsmen. Good Lord, man. There's also those aliens. Now, I remember, there's the end of the level there. I remember that there was an alien back in the demo level, which I'm pretty sure wasn't one of the early levels. I think the demo level was kind of mid-tier, halfway through the game. Now, I'm sure you could shoot down the UFOs with the rockets, and I think they give you some good goodies, but don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Also, looking at the art style we have here, there's something about it that does remind me of Crash Bandicoot. I think it's the bold colors and all that green leaf. I think that's what's doing it. Now, unfortunately, this is the bit I realized where I decided to go do some exploring and go check for some secrets. And then I realized those gates only open one way. And yeah, we now have to go back through the whole level again. The good news is everything that we have already destroyed is gone, and enemies don't appear to respawn. So, you know, you can just fly through the levels. The hit detection is a bit poor in some places. It's very, very easy to get stuck on levels. Oh, there we go. Another secret. No, Leo. Please, you've already destroyed stuff. You don't have to run across my keyboard as well. Leo, you're a biggest pirate in this room right about now, aren't you? Anyway, so we found another one. We've got 6 out of 8 treasure, which we can see down in the bottom left hand. You've got the hearts there, which are our lives. Under that, you've got the treasure, 6 of 8. And then, of course, our health, which is, well, could be better, let's be fair. I even like the fact that the enemy ships that we've already sunk are still visible under the water. I like that. That's cool. Right, let's get back. I think it's about time we take this home. These levels are impressively big as well for the PlayStation 1. Another game that this reminds me of. Oh, look at him. He's like in one of those big pits, but he hasn't sunk all the way to the bottom. That's curious. Because they definitely do. They definitely do go down there. Maybe that comes down to the weird hit detection that I was saying about. Like, you really do get caught up on corners and things like that that kind of look like you shouldn't be getting caught up on them. But who knows? Maybe we're beaching the boat. There's another one there as well that hasn't sunk all the way down. Very strange. So yeah, another game the visual style of this reminds me of, and even the music actually. It was a game called Cooler World. Now that was an odd one. That was a puzzle game. And that was where you controlled a beach ball. Yes, a beach ball. And you had to go across these platforms in the sky. Think of Mario Sunshine and some of those levels where you were up in the sky and you had to walk across the bricks. You had to do that, but you're a beach ball. Yeah, the PlayStation 1, man, that has such a rich library of strange games. Anyway, I think this pretty much concludes our look at this game. It is a very interesting gem, I would say, from my childhood. And, you know, sometimes when you remember a game and you from your childhood and you finally find it and you play it, it's disappointing, you know? You kind of wish it had stayed in your memories, but not this one. This one was really fun and really refreshing. And I think I'm going to do a full LP of this in time. I'm going to have to play through it first, but I'm pretty sure we're going to cover it in more depth. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you have any thoughts, leave them below, or even if you've had any experience with this game, because I don't remember ever even seeing it in the shops, I'll be honest. So anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, till next time.